Hey guys, Stephanie Scheller here. This is our Business Owner Spotlight, and you may notice something slightly different from normal. This is the first time we have done it live with a person. I know, I'm super excited. Okay, so the Business Owner Spotlight, the whole idea, if this is the first time you're joining us, is to take business owners who have an amazing story and give them the chance to share that out, because being a business owner is not easy and they deserve the chance to share that. So for this spotlight, I invited a friend of mine, Travis, to join me and talk about the company. You've been working with another company, now you started your own company. So
Correct, thank you.
Share your story a little bit.
Okay, I've been helping schools for about 15 years, doing all sorts of things from fundraising, t-shirts, school supplies, playground equipment, just all sorts of facets. And I was working with another company, and me and the business owners split ways this last year, so I got started on my own, and I was very excited. All the clients were happy to join me. I was very customer service is very important to me, and I was just so happy to have all those customers willing to join me in my new adventures. I'm very excited.
Nice. What do you think it was? Because I know you're basically running this other company. It was like a group of companies. You were basically running this section you're running now. But so what do you think it was that set you up to be like, okay, I can go do this on my own now?
Well, I took all those classes at the UTSA business school. That was great. I mean, Stephanie was
Some
wonderful.
with me.
And I read about every book on business you could think of. Half-price books knows me really well. I always go there to the business section. I always look for something new.
Right, half-price books at Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
I spend way too much money on Amazon. So what, not just since you've started business, but in business in general, what's been the biggest obstacle or problem you've kind of bumped into so far?
The biggest obstacle I have is always having to depend on suppliers and other people else that I have no control over. I mean, when you place orders with companies and they have stuff that get delivered on freight companies, those are all things out of your control. So it's always been a bit of a challenge because I'm very personal with all my customers and I always want everything to be perfect. And unfortunately, in the real world, that doesn't actually happen.
Yeah. So what do you do? Like, how do you?
Communication. Our freight company who helps me gets a lot of stuff delivered to the school, I communicate frequently with them to the point where I'm actually on first name basis with all their drivers. So whenever they're delivering to all my schools, they know me personally. They call my cell phone, and it makes it the best, possible service for the schools.
Nice. So, how do you? I know customer service. You're huge. You're fanatical about it. It's always been your biggest thing. It's always been first time we chatted. One of the biggest things. How did you get to the point where that became? Because there's a lot of companies who don't prioritize it as much as they should. How did you get to the point where that became such a big deal?
Probably because in working with other companies and just through life, I hated when companies didn't value me as a customer. They saw me more as a number, and that was always really frustrating for me. And I just, in talking to people, I mean, the customers are people, and so you want to treat them the best you can because that's how you want to get treated. So, I mean, just good biblical.
What's been the hardest part of building a strong culture on customer service?
Again, those outside sources, just trying to get everything maintained, and then when things do go wrong, is to be upfront with the customer. Never try to lie. Don't try to make excuses. Say, hey, this happened. Let's find the best solution. I mean, it's been overall, it's been challenging but exciting, and it's always worked out.
A lot of it's just communication, though, it sounds like.
Yeah, communication.
So, are there any specific times when you, I don't know, ran into some sort of major problem, major obstacle, major something, maybe business threatening, at any point over the past 20 years, and what did you do about it?
It's a very interesting question. I have to think about that. For a second.
You're good. This is what happens with an interview. Sometimes I ask something random and they're like,
well, it's one of those giant questions, like, what is the biggest challenge? And try to think back on all the different things in your life, and challenges come up constantly. I mean, starting my new business, I've been working from home. We have a brand new baby in January, so it was just challenges on, home life and starting a new business and keeping the customer service, just all those different things, and you just have to prioritize and scheduling and planning your day is just so important. have a calendar I live by. I mean, I plan everything and always thinking ahead so that you don't get yourself in those binds to overcommit or
Right.
not have time to play with the kids and do those sorts of things. Just your time.
So you're building a new business and you still have time for your kids?
Yes.
Are you
yes.
crazy? I mean, I thought you had to pick one or the other.
Well, my 4-year-old daughter loves to work with me, so she
nice.
actually been to a couple of my meetings, and she helps me put my packets together, so she loves that. And yeah, you just gotta always find time for your family. I mean, that's what you're doing it for, right?
Well, that's supposed to be. For some people, they tend to veer away for that one. What would probably be the best? You know, we've got a lot of business owners out there who are fighting, trying to build their business. Maybe in the trenches right now. I always jokingly say, you know, it's great to hear interviews from people who've done stuff, you know, but, you know, when Mark Zuckerberg gets up on stage and goes, just persevere, push through, you got it, it's kind of like, thanks, man. It's kind of unrelatable. What's your best piece of advice for business owners out there?
I mean, things don't always go as planned. I mean, you just have to stop for a second, breathe, and if you just think, again, communication and honesty with your customers, your suppliers, there's always a solution you can find out together if you just don't let it get to you and just be honest and communicate. I mean, it's amazing how many people don't communicate and then there's problems. And there's no solutions.
What's your best tip for communicating? Since that's come up about, I don't know, 10, 15 times?
Get on a personal basis with all your customers and your suppliers. Talk to them, cell phones, emails. I mean, to find out what works best. I mean, nowadays everyone texts. I mean, 5 years ago, I didn't text, and now everybody texts. That's all we do business. But if you just keep constantly communicating like that, I mean, it's just so much easier. Just always have those open lines, but you have to be willing to show your customers that you actually do care about them as a customer. And so when they call you, you're there for them and you're happy.
Isn't it overwhelming though to try and communicate with them all the time like that?
I find out if you're honest and you do communicate, it may seem overwhelming, but you don't have the problems later that take up so much more time. So maybe doing a little more extra work by over communicating at the beginning saves you problems
Down the
afterward.
road.
Yeah. I mean, fixing problems is way harder than solving them before it happens.
It's the preemptive. I always talk to
Yeah.
people, I'm like, you know, it's easier to plant gardens and water, you know, than it is to battle a forest fire.
Exactly.
You know, you put a lot of energy and money battling forest fires. I'd have to look that one up. That'd be a good stat. Like, how much money does it cost to battle a single forest fire versus how much is a year's worth of preventative measures?
Yeah, I think about it like I love the garden, and I'm a big vegetable garden. You know, when you pull your weeds, if you pull it on a daily basis, 1 or 2 weeds at a time, it's not a big deal. But if you go on vacation for 2 weeks and you come back and your garden's full of weeds, so that's the same thing. If you just a little bit at a time at the beginning, saves you so much down the road.
Well, and I would guess, I'm not a gardener, but maybe you can answer this one for. I've managed to kill a cactus. We're just going to leave it at that, which is probably not my proudest moment. That's why I don't have kids yet. But so I would also think if you let your garden get overrun, even if you go in and try and fix it and pull it and all that stuff later, you're still going to have less of a crop, less of a bumper crop with your vegetables, aren't you?
You will, and then you're also going to be pulling up some of your vegetables because your weeds and your good plants are going to go together. So that's the thing. By not communicating and not being, honestly, waiting till the last minute on things, you have all of these forces that you can't handle.
You can't control anymore suddenly.
Exactly.
And I would even, excuse me, I would guess it happens with employees too. Same thing.
It does. Always be open, honest with your employees as well. I mean, let them know where you stand, what do you expect, and show that. And don't ever say one thing and do another. I mean, you hear that a million times in your lifetime, but that's so important that when they see you react to a customer, that's how they know they're supposed to react to a customer.
Yeah, it's something I think we either forget or we get caught up. It's hard to remember sometimes when you are like going like back to back to back to back to back knocking stuff out, is that, you know, you, especially small businesses, you set the culture and the tone for the entire company.
Exactly.
And how I tell people, I'm like, look, you react and you're sharp, you're harsh once, and the sad thing is that's what your employees remember. Oh, it's okay. That's what happens.
Exactly.
So I was watching a kid the other day, and I was at an event, and the chairs were there, and the kid was not paying attention to what was going on stage, you know, because kids don't do. And he's drawing, and he's kneeling down over the chair drawing, and he pushed the chair back into me. And the dad just turned around and just automatically smacked the kid across the back of the head, like, hey, I mean, not hard, not abusive, but like, hey, you know, and he pulls the chair forward. He's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I was like, the only thing your kid just learned was like, I don't know when I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And employees and customers are the same way, I think. And
Exactly.
we have a hard time remembering that you're setting the example. Everything you do is under scrutiny.
And they know at all times, not just when you're interacting with customers, when you're in your office, or just when you walk by, they can tell your attitude, and that goes a long way. So always try to be as positive and upbeat as possible.
Yeah. What do you do when you're not feeling positive and upbeat? How do you handle that one? Hide in the office?
Well, I mean, again, it's just if you take everything with that, you want to do what's right, you're going to have those moments, but if you just know you're trying for something, you can really just let that stuff overcome, you know? It's don't let it get to you when you know you are doing your best. If something does bad happen, if you did your best, you were open and honest throughout the whole process, you can feel some sense of relief whenever you do have to fix those problems, that they know I've been trying, and just, you have to, I mean, and having that sense of, just like that, not pride, but just the overconfidence when you get someplace when there's a problem. I had to teach that to several of my employees along the way. Like when you get to a school and there was a small issue, if you know, one little thing, you overreact, well then the school overreacts, and then their customers overreact, and then the kids overreact, and this becomes a bigger deal. But when a small problem, they say, hey, we can handle this with a positive attitude, and it's amazing how, just the night and day difference, by you're starting the problem and saying, we can do this, you know, we can find a solution. And it's amazing how the big difference when you panic, everyone around you panics.
Right. There always has to be someone calm, and I think that kind of goes into leadership, where you're leading the entire situation and
Exactly.
the tone you set. Now I'm curious, this one just popped into my head. You've gone from running what was a pretty major player in your industry to starting up your own company. What was the hardest part of going from one, like, was there something that you didn't expect to see because you went from running someone else's company to suddenly having to run your own?
Well, it's different whenever you're going into the office and you have a boss that you have to meet expectation doing things, and whenever you're going to the office and you are the total boss and the buck stops with you. So to just keep that motivation and to keep the you know, overall urgency of, hey, I need to go out there and do my best. Even though I am the top of the food chain, you just got to go out there and, you know,
Push.
Yeah.
So how do you keep your motivation up?
It sounds like being a dead horse, but it's just that customers. I am very proud of what I do. So many of my schools have had bad instances in the past, and I've been working with a lot of them for 15 years now. And just that pride of knowing that I'm making them happy and they're getting the great products and stuff that they need. It's just that overall sense of pride that, you know, hey, I'm really making a difference for these people. On a yearly basis, I help schools raise about $2 million that they put into their activity accounts all over the state of Texas. And then getting to go back year after year and see the things that they were to purchase for these schools, whether it be iPads or new playgrounds or just different things.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're making a difference, and it just helps motivate you to keep you going.
If you had one tip to create a stellar customer service other than communication, what would it be?
Read. read. I mean, there's nothing that Zig Ziglar ever wrote that I haven't read. Or any of, I mean, Og Mandino, just so many amazing people. Just read. I mean, everything's happened, or people way smarter than us have thought about these things. So they have so much great insight. You can just find so many instances that you can take into your life by just keeping reading and learning. I mean, I met you at the UTSA business. I mean, I think I went to 30 classes that one year just to keep learning, and it's just amazing to meet other people and do that.
Yeah. It's I think Solomon says in Ecclesiastes, he says there's nothing new under the sun.
Exactly.
There's nothing new out there. It has been there's lots of different ways to rehash it, I've found, right? Everyone comes up with, oh well, that's 80s talk. You have to say it nowadays. That's totally cool, right? And I love Zig Ziglar. His stuff is, you know, 80s, and some of it does have to be translated, but it's still brilliant, genius stuff. There's there's, nothing new out there. It's just how you apply it. And so I love that you went back to one of my favorite tips for our final tip there.
And your time management is just so important, and having the energy for family and work, you do have to find that time to do something for yourself. It's just so important to keep you energized. For a while there, I stopped working out when we first had the baby, and for about 3 or 4 months, my wife could tell there was something wrong, missing, and we finally realized it. Hey, I haven't worked out, so I decided over the summer I started training for the San Antonio Marathon. I penciled that time in every week, and it's amazing. Yes, I'm tired after an 8-mile run. It's amazing how that energy actually gives me for the rest of the day, because you have that time for yourself to collect your thoughts, and so you can be a great father, be a great business owner, be a great customer service. Just finding that little time for yourself every day is important, whether it's exercise or you have your horses and different things. That's just so important.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, that more than just like taking time for, but it's also something you touched on, like being present in the moment. You go for your run, you work on your run, then you spend time with your kids, and like you segment it out. And sometimes, many times I talk to business owners who are struggling because they're like, well, Stephanie, I never turn it off, and I'm with the kids, but I'm not with the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm working out, but I'm not working out, so I'm not giving it everything I can. So then they're putting out a lot of energy without getting anything to come back and to center back.
Yeah, put your cell phone away from you when you're with your kids.
You gotta have, I love the new place we got my horse at. There's no cell phone service.
Exactly.
Like, it's fantastic. You go to like this little valley, there's no way you can communicate with anybody. It's both terrifying and really cool. Because I don't think I've ever been like no cell phone service like that in a long time.
I turn my ringer off and plug it in and leave it away and go play with your
Go
kids.
do your thing. There is one thing I have learned. There are very few industries where there is such a big emergency. You have to be available right away. So, well, cool. Well, I can't think of any other particular questions. Do you have any last words of wisdom for our business owner watchers out there who are interested?
Always keep learning and keep watching podcasts like this or videos.
Not just mine, guys. There's some amazing stuff out there. Do yourself a favor. Go out and find something to watch, something to do with yourself that is going to make your day awesome, because you deserve it. I'm Stephanie here with our Business Owner Spotlights. Hey, if you know somebody who deserves to be spotlighted this, shoot them over to me. Look below, grab the email address down there, shoot it over. I would love to spend some time spotlighting them, their achievements, their story, and give them the platform to talk about who they are and where they're going. I'm Stephanie Scheller. Look forward to seeing you guys again very soon.